Thanks, listeners, for joining us for today's Elko Live program here on KELK. Today, we're featuring a very special guest who is joining us in studio to talk about an accelerated hiring event. If you've ever considered a career in law enforcement, this is an exciting opportunity. Sergeant Cruz Marin is here from Nevada State Police. Welcome, Sergeant. We really appreciate you taking time out of a busy schedule to talk to us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate a chance to help promote being a Nevada State Police or a highway patrol officer as a career. And so we're going to find out all the details about this accelerated hiring event that's coming up, Sergeant, and maybe what folks can do to prepare, or maybe even who makes a good highway patrol. Now, can we still call you troopers, or do you prefer state police? That kind of goes back and forth, right?
We're still troopers. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. We knew it was a state thing that happened, but you are our highway patrol troopers, and we appreciate the work that you do. So there's an event coming up on Saturday, April 11th at Elko High School. And how would you describe this event? Is this for people who have already decided that they're applying for the position, or is it an exploratory effort?
No. So in order to get to the testing part of it, you at least have to apply. And you can reach out to me at 775-385-6690, and I'll walk you through the process. Our event is on April 11th. Check-in will be at 9:30. The actual testing will begin at 10. It'll go from the physical fitness test, then thereafter will be followed by the written test.
So can you walk us through the physical fitness test, the first portion, because now's the time folks want to make sure they're in shape?
You have an agility run, you have a 1.5 mile run, you have push-ups, you have sit-ups, and you have a, basically you should be able to jump at least, I believe it's 11.5 inches.
So just kind of hopping up onto something or jumping straight up in
Jumping
the air?
up, and then we have a testing bar that you flip a little metal piece over to test the height.
So it sounds kind of exciting, and obviously you're looking for both qualified men and women for the position, Cruz?
Correct, and the accelerated part that you mentioned is anything to do with the rurals, which is us, not Vegas, not Reno. We will put you to the front of the line to get you through the process to come work in the rurals if you're interested. It's open to all positions across the state, but that's what the acceleration part means, is that we'll put you to the front of the line when it comes to the rest of the procedures after the testing.
And when you mentioned all positions, this is through Nevada Department of Public Safety?
Correct.
So you might be interested in a job, say, working in a prison system, for example?
No, it would be law enforcement. For this event, it's strictly for the highway patrol.
Okay.
And it goes across the state, Vegas, Reno, Carson, the rurals, Tonopah, wherever the case may be, right?
So you are just looking to recruit, obviously, people who are excited about this opportunity, those who are ready to serve, lead, and make an impact, the way it's described.
And help our community. I grew up in Elko. I've been in this business for over 25 years, and I'm still highly motivated, still enjoy going out and helping the public, doing my job.
Well, it's obvious, because here you are helping to recruit applicants who are also ready to take the next step. So we mentioned the physical portion. Tell us about what it's like to take the test. That scares some people, right?
Correct. So the physical fitness test, I mean, the time given, I could probably walk the 1.5 miles and make that time. And I failed to mention there is a 300-meter run with it. And since I took over this position, everybody that I've tested, I've actually went out and did the test with them, the running part. So if they need a pace man, I can be their pacer. If they need a little motivation, I can be the motivation. And so, and the written part, or the written test itself, is a lot of it is just common sense. So
that's good to know.
There's nothing to be afraid of it. It's not a Marine Corps boot camp test. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds good, because we can talk about this too, that once an applicant is successful, you're post-certified, right?
No, once they go through the process, which is the physical fitness, the written, the background, the lie detector test, the physical with the doctor, and then the psychiatrist. Once you go through all that, then you go to the academy and you become post-certified.
And then you are on your way.
Correct.
Yes. And so a lot of training is provided, Sergeant, for this position. And is that something that you recall doing, as you mentioned, over 25 years ago?
Yes, and currently the Highway Patrol is running a Southern Academy, a Northern Academy. You have the choice to go whatever direction you want to go. The difference between the two is Southern Academy does not have dorms. You, as the individual, will be responsible for renting a place to stay if you decide to go to the Southern Academy. On the Northern Academy, they have the dorms free of charge. You stay there during the work week, and then you're free to go on the evenings and weekends.
So are you looking for applicants who are at least 18?
Well, in theory, they have to be 21 before they graduate the academy. And so we can start hiring out 6 months prior. So if they're 20 and a half, we can hire them on, put them in like maintenance for the shop for 6 months till they go to the academy. Okay. And as long as they're turned 21 before they graduate the academy, that's where we need them at.
Okay, so it's got to be 21 or older.
Correct.
Yes. But you can do the math and figure out when your birthday is, obviously. So this could be an opportunity for a young person. I don't mean to ask you your age, but did you start when you were just out of school, or did you have some college or another career first?
I had a couple careers before I decided to come to the Highway Patrol. Out of high school, I went into the military. Out of the military, I went into the mining industry and then came over.
And that's a really good point. We have a lot of successful people in law enforcement who did come from the military. Isn't that right, Sergeant?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's good to have that background. It's a good foundation to have.
So you might check in with our good friends. You probably already have, but at the Veterans Resource Center at Great Basin College, they're always looking to connect people with opportunities.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to mention this. If you're not 100% sure that this is the direction that you would like to go, reach out to me at that number that I gave you, and I'd be more than happy to schedule you a ride along so you can get out with one of the troopers that's on the road and see what we do every single day. It's not about, we don't go out. Our jobs is not to focus on writing tickets, right? We have other duties we have to do, and you come out, do the ride along with that trooper that you're scheduled with. You actually go out and see exactly what it is that we do daily, on a daily basis. And
there is an exciting part, right, where you get to learn how to drive a car, right? And you get some, what's that kind of driving called?
It's called EVOC.
EVOC, okay.
You go through it in the academy, you learn how to drive fast, go around corners, braking, etc. And just like any other, I don't know all the agencies, but you get a car to take home every single day, and you call on from your driveway.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know the police department they just had a presentation Tuesday during the regular council meeting about taking home vehicles. It makes a big difference, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Because the minute, when I was working the road, and for the troopers that do work the road, we get called out wee hours in the morning, and we take the call, and we got to respond to a crash. We're on the clock the minute we get that phone call.
And what kind of cars do you get to drive? He's got a smile on his face.
So right now, our fleet consists of, we have one Mustang in the Central Command, which is us. There's supposed to be one more coming. We have a few Tahoes. We have the F-150s, and we have the Ford Explorers.
Okay, so those are pretty nice rigs.
They are, and we don't keep them around for long. We put a lot of miles on them.
Oh, absolutely. So if this is a position that someone is interested in, obviously you want to reach out to Sergeant Cruz Marin directly so that you can ask any questions, right?
Correct, and I'm going to give you that number all over again. It's 775-385-6690, and you can reach out with any questions. I will be more than happy to help you out.
All right. Again, that accelerated hiring event, which includes some testing, will be Saturday, April 11th. Check in at 9:30 at Elko High School.
And remember, you must apply before you come test.
Oh, good. And so those applications, are those online?
They are.
Okay.
And once you reach out to me, I can share the link with you.
Okay, that's important. So you do want to reach out if you're listening right now thinking this sounds like an exciting opportunity. Should we mention salary range, or is that something you're able to talk about?
I can. I did not bring in the forms to specifically give you the hourly wage, but we make pretty good money. I mean, as a topped-out trooper, so you hire on as a cadet, right? After you got to graduate from the academy, you come out, and every year thereafter, you will get a raise, 5% raise.
5%'s healthy.
Yes. And once you top out at 10 years, you're making pretty good money.
Yeah. And obviously, we appreciate the protection that we get.
And granted, we're not on the road 24/7, but we have people on call 24/7.
Right. And so you do work shifts, is that right?
Yes, we currently are working a day shift and a swing shift, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. for most, and then noon to 10, and then the hours that we have nobody is call-outs.
Okay. And what is, I guess, the region or the territory? You have a perfect name for being a highway patrolman, Cruz, by the way.
Thank you. So our region consists of Central Command, so at Rye Patch to the west is where we take over all the way to the Utah border, 93 north all the way to the Idaho border, Mountain City Highway all the way to the Idaho border, and it encompasses Winnemucca, Battle Mountain, Elko, Wells, Wendover, Jackpot, Ely, Austin, and Tonopah.
And you do provide support services for other law enforcement, right? When
Correct.
called?
Yes. With our community, we have a great working relationship with Elko County and Elko PD. They help us, we help them. That's what's great about the rurals is we all intertwine and we all are after the same goal.
And I imagine that in this last 25 years, you've seen some pretty amazing things, and it's not all sad. There are some amazing good stories, right, Sergeant?
Right, and I think that's the whole reason I'm still hanging out is I love to help people. If they're broke down, I don't mind changing a tire. However, if you're young and capable, I will walk you through the tire change.
That's an important lesson.
Yes, because you got to figure this out, right? You got to know how to do this.
Right. One of my favorite stories that we were just talking about, retired Trooper Jim Stewart with the Highway Patrol that he told, because he used to do this job and recruit folks too, is that one time he saved a person's life who was contemplating suicide. And he was able to talk to that person about hunting and then brought that person in literally.
Yeah, and you have to make that connection with the individual somehow or another, whatever that case may be, and get to know them in that short time where you can make that change, that split-second change.
Yeah. So you've made a really positive difference in the lives of people too.
Well, I would hope so.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Yeah. And then we also want to remind people, because we do see more careless, distracted driving, and we know Department of Public Safety is always running campaigns to remind us, because it takes literally, that's where the term split second comes from, right? For something tragic to happen, Sergeant.
Correct. And now that the weather is changing, not only are we responsible for our own driving, you're going to have more people out on the roads. You're going to have motorcycles out on the roads. And, give yourself that extra little time to get to where you need to be. Give yourself a little leeway, even though the weather's not bad, so you're not rushing.
And then even though there may be a posted speed limit, you have to go the speed limit that conditions allow, right?
Correct.
Yes, even if it's darkness or if it's inclement weather. Do you have any tips for us about driving around big rigs or semis, that kind of thing?
Yes. So obviously, if you're on the interstate, it seems like the majority of our traffic on the interstate is commercial motor vehicles because they're moving product from point A to point B. Is be cautious, be more careful of what they're doing to get around them. Don't hang out where they can't see you. Don't pass if it's not safe to do so. And if they are all over the road because they get on their phone or texting, whatever the case may be, call it in. Star NHP, and we will get somebody there. And if you wish to file a complaint, then you sign off on the ticket and they get an issued ticket.
Star NHP, and it could be a medical issue. I mean, think about that. Even if they're not distracted, they could simply be drowsy or have a medical issue.
Correct. And a lot of people use our roadways to get to and from, and you just never know what you're going to come across.
And then you talked about safe passing. Maybe some tips on how to pass safely, right, Sergeant? Some people may think that's obvious, but...
Obvious to most, but we still have the folks that can't understand what the double lines mean. Yellows, that means no passing. You don't have the right to pass. On a commercial motor vehicle, once you start to get in their blind spot, the sooner you get around them, the better off you will be, because there's a lot of length to the trucks, right? So don't hang out in the blind spots.
And then you want to yield always to emergency vehicles or other people that are on the side of the road. Can you tell us about that?
Yield. So if you find it safe to do, if there doesn't matter whether it's emergency vehicles, DOT, anybody with tow truck, anybody flashing lights on the side of the road, if it is safe for you to move over to the next lane over, move over. If you cannot, you must slow down and go by them very slowly for safety reasons.
And then you also mentioned using Star NHP to report someone who might be a distracted driver, weaving, speeding, that kind of thing, some erratic behavior. What if there's debris in the road? Does the Highway Patrol care about that as well?
Yes, we will send somebody out to get that cleared, whether it be us or whether it be DOT, depending on the circumstances of what's out in the road. There's times that we actually have to have like DOT with the loader to come move stuff out of the road. You would be surprised the things that people drop along the way.
And then, Sergeant Marin, what about if someone does come upon or witnesses an accident? Do you have any advice for them?
If you are a witness to an accident, please stop, make sure everything's okay. Once we get there, we would love to talk to you, get a statement, then we'll get you on your way.
But you should always report that too?
Correct. You should call 911. Regardless of what you think the injuries are, call 911. It's safer for us to send medical and fire than not.
Right. And something to keep in mind is that sometimes we get out on the interstate and we're saying, I'm not sure where I am. Am I at Imlay or am I at almost to Lovelock, right? So there are signs, road markers that have numbers, correct?
Correct. On the interstate, you have green and white signs or black and white signs. Either one of those will work on the interstate, like on a state route 227 Lemoyle Highway. They're all black and white. Most people understand and know where they're at for the most part, but if you are not familiar with that area, every once in a great while, look at the mile marker so you understand and know where you're at.
Yeah, just glance over at that and then be able to tell a dispatcher what direction you're going, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Yes, that's huge. The mile marker, direction of travel, and the highway is huge when you call dispatch, so we get somebody there quicker.
All right. And the number to call for dispatch is 911?
Correct. It'll connect you to the a lot of our calls will go to central dispatch, will then in return get passed on to Highway Patrol. Our dispatch centers are currently in Las Vegas and Reno. We will get the call and we will respond.
All right. These are just some good tips that we're getting from our Nevada Highway Patrol Sergeant Cruz Marin. We opened up the program talking about this accelerated hiring event coming to Elko High School on Saturday, April 11th. That's for anyone considering a career, especially as a highway patrolman. And if you are interested in committed to professionalism, purpose, and coming together in service of our community, speak to Sergeant Marin because he's been doing this for a while.
Just a little while.
Just a little while. So let's talk about, you mentioned motorcycles. It's that time of year. We need to start seeing motorcycles.
Yes. So everybody knows what the weather starts to change. People start to get on their bikes and they just go on rides. We got to watch out for those guys, okay? Mm-hmm. Because they don't have the shell of a vehicle around them. All they have is a helmet, pretty much.
And that's important too. Motorcyclists likely have taken their training, at least we hope so.
We hope so.
Yeah, we hope so. There are classes offered and you get what's called an endorsement, and that's on your license.
Correct.
Helps with your insurance, but it can really save your life. I mean, that's the most important thing.
And there is classes put on by the state, and they are held at our office in the back. And that endorsement is required to be able to drive a motorcycle.
Oh, it is required.
It is required.
I thought I was just doing it because it was because it was fun and I knew it could save my life. Because motorcyclists have to obey, for the most part, the same laws of the road that drivers in vehicles have to. Is that right,
Exactly.
Sergeant? Yes.
They have to obey all laws, just like everybody else.
Yes. So you can't be squeezing in the middle of two lanes of traffic and passing.
You can't split traffic, correct.
That's what it's called. Okay. I'm always shocked. It doesn't happen. I haven't had that happen to me here, but in bigger cities, sometimes you just think, what are they doing? And they just create their own little lane up the middle. So
correct.
Yes. So are there other topics or other the things that you think might help the motoring public or that might encourage people to consider this as a career?
It's a great opportunity to serve your community. And not only to serve your community, but to interact with the public, because we're not all about writing tickets. People run out of gas. People get flats. People break down. We gotta supply those kinds of things that they require. People that crash, they need that support. We're usually the first ones to get on scene. First aid till the ambulance gets there.
Yes.
And then, help them out with whatever we can. A lot of times we'll reach out to Fish and see if we can put them up, or tow truck. They may just need a tow truck. It's the little things that really make the difference.
Well, in fact, we could probably tell many, many stories about how Highway Patrol officers, troopers have been friends to people who, as you said, they're stranded or they're in distress. I think about, in particular, one time a family that they didn't have enough child safety seats for all of their children as they were driving through.
And back in that time frame, we would give out child seats.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, and there are other agencies or organizations that hopefully we can connect to, whether it's Family Resource Center. I know the fire department was involved in doing that. But I guess the whole point of this conversation is that you can provide services when you are a local law enforcement officer, especially with a highway patrol.
And a lot of services. I mean, we deal with a lot of things. There's sometimes you deal with weird stuff that you're not too sure how to even deal with it, but you start making phone calls and you get them in the right direction and down the right path.
So it's challenging, and it's not like it's different every day, it sounds to me like.
Every single day is different. You never have the same day over and over.
I imagine you might have some interesting wildlife encounters too out on the highway, right, Sergeant?
Yes. We have encountered mountain lions, now moose, elk, deer. And the other thing I should probably mention is keep in mind that the weather's changing. The animals are also moving. So be on the lookout for wildlife.
Yes, because they like to get places too.
Correct.
and you don't want to run into a moose with your vehicle.
Correct. Yeah. Or any wildlife for that matter.
Oh, certainly. And just a pro tip, they do like to cross over those summits. Now, we now have some wildlife crossings, which I guess our crossings are models for other states, Sergeant.
Yes. We have them on 93. We have them on I-80. And I got to be honest with you, when they first started to put these out, I'm like, it's not going to work. They are working. It has been proven over and over that it has worked, and it is working because other agencies are looking to see what we've done, and it's helped the wildlife. That's the whole reason NDOT decided to put those in.
That's right. Helps the wildlife, and then certainly helps the people driving, because if you have a collision with a large animal like that, it can certainly be fatal, but lots and lots of property damage too. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
And the other thing I probably need to mention is we get a lot of calls about when individuals strike wildlife. Most insurance companies require an accident report. So the best option you can do is call it in when it happens. We'll respond. We take the report. On a worst case scenario, if you can't stay, call it in, and then we can do an office report later.
Oh, okay. But it's important. If you do encounter an animal, you have a collision, and we're talking big animals, not squirrels or rabbits.
Right. Something that'll do $750 worth or more of damage to your vehicle.
All right. That's important to keep in mind. I'm just thinking sometimes new people might say, oh, no, and there are collisions with birds, unfortunately. I remember seeing it was a very compelling photograph. I think like an eagle or something went in a windshield.
Yes.
Was that in our region?
It was.
It was.
Yeah. And we actually get called to a lot of eagles and owls that are picking off the wildlife that's been struck on the road that end up getting struck.
Yeah, that's important. If you can slow down, because our friend Julie Gabrielson from Endow, she explained, she said when those big they're predatory birds, but like eagles and hawks, and they get down on a site and start eating game, they'll become engorged, and they can't fly, they can't take off the way that they're expecting to. So
correct.
Yeah, so that can become part of the hazard as well. Well, I know we've talked about a lot of things today, and we really appreciate your time, Sergeant, because we just want to encourage people to consider this as an opportunity. Has time flown for you in the last 25 years?
Absolutely. It just seems like yesterday I was in the academy, and here I am 25 years into this and still here.
Well, we appreciate the work that you do in keeping us safe, and it's all about that demeanor too, because of all the visitors, travelers. It's about our economy and commerce. You're literally keeping the highways safe for all of us.
That is our goal. That is our goal. And remember, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call me at 775-385-6690.
All right, we're going to close just with one more happy story, and that is about your work and that of others with the enduring holiday event, but that takes year-round planning, Shop with a Cop.
Shop with a Cop. We just had a meeting a little over a week ago to start the process for the Christmas shopping event for the kids.
And do you think, why is that event important to you as a law enforcement officer?
Because it was created by law enforcement for the kids in need in the community. And every year, they have been doing this for 30 plus years. Every single year, these applications come in and they give to the needy child that needs Christmas.
And there are community donations now, because we know that among those who started this effort, there were local law enforcement who would be, as you said, the first responders. They would encounter a family, whether it's a domestic violence, a fire, an accident, some sort of tragedy. There might be children, and through no fault of their own, maybe a parent or both parents get arrested, right? There are plenty of reasons to look out for children that you may encounter as a law enforcement officer.
Correct. And the Shop with a Cop event, to me, I grew up in Elko. It's been going for a long, long time, and it's something that I think we should cherish and not let it go away.
Definitely. So for more than 30 years, and you guys have a Facebook page, right? That's how we can find you?
Correct.
All right. So just look up Shop with a Cop, and that's an Elko tradition. But it's not just for law enforcement. You have emergency rescuers and people from throughout the system, right?
Any first responder can participate taking a child shopping at Walmart now.
Okay. And then we'll put out, as the date draws near, where you can get the applications, because you might be a family in need or
Correct.
know one.
Yes, correct.
All right. Well, did we get to all your topics today?
I hope so.
We stretched it out. We needed to fill a half an hour. I don't know if you knew that. You did great.
Thank you.
Yes, we appreciate it. Come back anytime. We'll see you again.
Appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. We do feature our sheriff and our police chief, and the timing of this program, Sergeant, happens to fall the day before theirs. So they're going to be coming in tomorrow. So I hope they do as well as you.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Thank you again to our guest today, Sergeant Cruz Marin, Nevada Highway Patrol Trooper, our guest here on Elko Live. Again, just a quick reminder, mark that date, Saturday, April 11th. Check in at 9:30 a.m. at the Elko High School for testing for this accelerated hiring event that could take you anywhere in the state or right here at home. But if you are ready to serve, lead, and make an impact in your community, this could be the opportunity you've been waiting for. Please reach out to Sergeant Cruz Marin to let him know that you've been listening and you're interested in this. Again, you must be 21 at the time you graduate from the academy. So give him a call, 775-385-6690, and let him know you've been listening to KELK today. Thank you again, Sergeant.
Thank you.